Quite a while ago, I made this video on how to put in your own dashboard from the Scintilla into an automation car. And it got, quite complicated, especially for most people, but it was actually one of the easier mods to do out there. Not long after that, the devs implemented this little doodad here, BeamNG screens, and that did all of the job all in one go. That would now export with the proper screen. Case in point, here's my V8 spooper car, and as you can see, it has the screen in there. And if I so chose, I could easily change through gears, I could rev the engine, and it all just works. But what if I said you could take this to even a higher level? Well, let's look at that, shall we? Here's my new V8 supercar, for example. We'll just quickly chuck this one in here. I've decided I needed more performance and whatnot, so I decided to reinvent the entire vehicle. Also, to have 4 doors, not 5, apparently it was a hatchback. And one of the big issues with this sort of setup is the fact that the steering wheel gets in the way of the screen. Wouldn't it be great if, for instance, say the screen was on here? Now, I know that this shows a screen there, but the screen is not actually there. That is just to trick you. Why, you may ask? I don't know, but it looks good, but we're going to make it real. Now, I know the V8 supercars didn't come with this, but this is something I've wanted to do for quite a while, so we're gonna just do that. So the only thing you're going to really need is for this to be a completely unique material, which it is currently, and then you're going to need to still place this, but since we're not going to be using this, we could just hide that somewhere. And I'm just going to hide that in the engine bay sort of area. It doesn't matter as long as it exists. And then what we're going to do, even though this is probably meant more for F1 sort of stuff, we're going to go ahead and export this. To make things easier, we are going to unpack this mod, then open said mod. In the unpacked section, we're going to find this and find our way through. We're going to open the one that is just a hash code. Then we're going to copy the address, open up Blender. In Blender, we're going to delete everything. F4, import this DAE. Then we're going to paste this here and open it up. Now, we're going to do basically this little mod here to do steering wheels and gauges. I've gotten quite good. This can be done in like 5 or 10 minutes now for me. So hardest mod, not so much. What we're going to do is we're going to select the body, Control I, H for hiding it, then select it, go into edit mode, and now we're going to, oh, hold on. Got some stuff to get rid of, so we're going to go select, all by trait, list geometry, delete vertices. Then we're going to hit 7 on the numpad. We're going to go over here to the wireframe view. We're going to start selecting everything around the wheel, but not the wheel itself. Control L to get some more selection in there. Press H to hide. And we're going to not hide the steering wheel or that little bit of dash stuff, which I think I hit around here somewhere. So just select everything else, hide all of that, and basically keep going. You know what I just realized? Right now we can hide that screen. We'll come back to that in a minute. Now with everything except the steering wheel hidden, what we're going to do is tab out, Control D to duplicate this, and we're just gonna rename this wheel after our hash code. So I found that some people were having some issues. If you just made a generic name for things, if you shared it on BeamNG mod, there was some compatibility issues sometimes, and that wheel DAE sort of file that we had that had the generic name would sometimes conflict with other things just called wheel. It's a weird way in which mods work in BeamNG. So the hash code followed by wheel is the preferable way of doing this. Now we're gonna hide the original body, reveal everything, then we're gonna hit tab here. Gonna make sure that nothing of this is selected. Hit Alt-H, then delete all vertices. Now we have just the wheel. Then in the side view, also if you don't have a numpad to go to side views and all that sort of stuff, you got this little widget here. You can just press and it'll go to whichever angle you want. Right now, we're gonna go on the X-axis. We're gonna move that down with G. Then we're gonna hit 1 on the numpad. We're gonna hit N to bring this out and the X back to 0, so it's gonna be center lined. Then I'm going to do a little bit of a trick. Because I know that this has a vertice in the middle, and there's a vertice in the middle there, it gets a little bit easy. We're going to hit R for rotate, and X to rotate on the X-axis. And look at that. We can easily line this up. And then we're going to do that again, R and X, and get that lined up. And you know what? That's pretty atrocious, but that'll do. Pretty darn close. Now we're gonna drop it down into there, and Done. Now we're gonna hide this, bring back the body, and then we're going to hit Tab, select everything, delete vertices, and then Alt-H, and we have our thing back. Now, this is the little trick. Everything else in the background is done for this screen. We're now just going to put the material where it needs to be. Also, a little bit of UV unwrapping, but that's not too hard. Remember that little screen that we put in here? Right there. We're gonna do two things. One, we're gonna select this material properties. Then we're gonna go to face select. Then we're going to select one of the faces, and then that's going to tell us what material is on that face. And we're just going to select that, Control C. Then we're going to tab out of this, we're going to hide this, bring this wheel back up. Then we're going to, wait, no, sorry, wrong wheel. We're going to go that wheel, that's what we wanted. Okay, well, be sure not to make that mistake. I'm going to turn off X-ray to make this a little bit easier. Now we have just this screen. Then we're going to go here to the material selector. We're going to paste into the search, and we're going to select that. And now this has the same material as that screen. Easy does it. The next thing we're going to have to do, this is a little bit of a trick, is make sure that those faces are selected. Then under UV editing, make sure that this fills out the screen the proper way. Because that screen that is usually on that overlay is inside of this square. So you may want to just scale a little bit on the Y-axis to bring it down a little bit. Who knows? We'll see what it looks like. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of cleaning up. I'm going to go to this body. I'm going to go in. And that screen that we had, yeah, we don't need that anymore. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete vertices. It's just a little bit of cleanup. Make it a little bit easier for the processor to run it. I now unhide everything. Then go F4, export, DAE. Go down here to recent and replace that one. Now, for doing the vertice positioning and all that sort of stuff that I'm about to do, you can just go ahead and watch the video. I'll just put a bit of a time lapse in now to show you how easy the process can be, because it's really just putting in a few lines of code and then repositioning a few of the nodes. So yeah, go watch the video on how to do the wheel. It's all in there. Oh, here's the other thing. Is this wheel mesh? So this lines up with mesh. What you're going to want to do is make sure that you've copied this name here. So Control C on that, come back to here, and then Control V on that. That's basically the only thing that you need to know, apart from the fact that we're still opening up the main file, main.jbeam. The hash name is just the name of the vehicle that the game reads. The rest is all the same. I've got this stuff saved. So I've got nodes for cars, and nodes for F1 if it's in the center, just to make my life a little bit easier. Now, this is in the wrong place, but you can see it steers already, and the screen works. Hell yeah, bro. Isn't that... That's awesome. I love it. I also love the fact that the material names are now all correct. Remember how sometimes you would do this and then the engine would export funny? You don't have to worry about that anymore. It's so much easier. Everything, it just works the right way. Now we're just gonna line this up. And there you have it. We have our working screen. Now, I could get the lights to work, but that's a whole nother story that we're gonna have to face on another day. And now you don't need, as you'll notice, I don't have any of the speedo up. I can just hide my UI entirely with Alt-U, and perfect. I know my revs. I can change gears when I want, even though I've got it set to automatic at the moment. I know what speed I'm doing. Oh, and my vehicle is still not the greatest at handling, and the wheel is a little bit wobbly, but I do know how to fix that. Okay, all right, okay. Oh dear. Yeah, these vehicles really do benefit a lot from stability control, which is why I've decided in my V8 Supercar Race Series to not have ESC on anymore. I've made that against the rules because these cars aren't easy, and that's the whole thing behind it. I originally did it because I didn't want bad drivers to really feel left out, but it feels as if people were just really too good with it. Now, I know that not everybody that had it was using it, but it just was a clear advantage sometimes. And I don't know. I just like the realism of how hard these vehicles are to drive. Oh dear. Nah. I think I need to go back to the drawing board and make this one just a little bit better. But as you can see, we've got it all working, and we could do this on pretty much any car. So, if you've liked this video, go ahead and maybe give me a like and subscribe. But for now, I'd like to thank my channel members, and that specifically includes Dehellerman for being a top tier channel member. For the rest of you, I'll catch you all next time. Goodbye.